enjoying unbridled, non-stop sex this evening. I'll spring for dinner.
Right after Hooperman, Wednesday.
Topping the Eyewitness News update tonight, Twins fever hits another high as the division champs are welcomed back home. The Vikings are left standing outside while their replacements lose their lead in the Dome. And an aftershock shakes up an already visibly shaken California.
And I'll have the latest on summer heat, winter snow, and our forecast.
And on Vital Signs, Dr. Michael Breen will show you how a laser can gaze into a human heart and possibly save a person's life. These stories and more coming up next on The Update.
Today's high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Castrol GTX is on sale for 89 cents per quart at all Jetmart convenience stores.
The word is spreading faster than a prairie fire. Cattle Company is serving their famous prime rib, slowly roasted and carved to order. Everyone's jumping at the chance to treat all their friends to a complete dinner. With a steaming baked potato and a fresh garden salad. But don't fight over the check because it's all for just $7.95. Only at Cattle Company. Oh yeah, you might want to think about reservations.
I'm Steve Edelman.
I'm Sharon Anderson.
How would you say I look different off the air?
Oh, well, I always tell people that you're taller off camera, and your eyes are much bluer off camera.
Bluer.
And,
Thinner.
Yeah, thinner, right.
More powerful.
More powerful, right.
Sexier.
Yeah,
Newman-like.
Robert or Alfredini.
You're watching KSTP-TV, Minnesota's News Channel 5.
Live from Minnesota's News Channel, KSTP Channel 5, Mike Binkley, Karen Falloon, and Mark Stevens bring you the Eyewitness News Update.
It was a hero's welcome tonight for the team that's the best in the West. The Twins return to the Twin Cities.
There's no game today.
This while the Vikings spend their day on the picket line, heroes for hire, as their replacements work the artificial turf at the Dome. Good evening, everyone. It's been a Sunday devoted to sports. The Twins return home to face Detroit in the American League playoffs, while the Vikings watch their replacements lose at the Dome. First, the Twins. Close to 2,000 Twins fans gave their team a big welcome home tonight at Twin Cities International Airport. Dave Andrews reports on the celebration in honor of the Western Division champ.
Bert Blyleven led his teammates off the plane tonight to the cheers of the Twins' loyal fans. Many of them had waited 4 hours to be on hand for tonight's rally. The Twins, of course, had their first division title celebration last Monday night in Texas. But Kent Herbeck brought home a little bit of it to share with the hometown fans.
I had to say this for something because you guys went around when we did this, so I'm just going to do this right here. I don't care what anybody says. Right here, all right? If I can.
Through the final stretch, the Twins have credited much of their success to the support they've received from the fans. A record home attendance this year has not gone unforgotten by the players.
Hey, we couldn't have done it without you. You know that. We're going to ride the home field advantage all the way to the top, all right?
And so as the team members leave tonight's rally and head for their homes to start preparation for Wednesday's first game, they know they've had about 2,000 people tonight. But on Wednesday, they'll have more than 50,000 fans in their corner. At Twin Cities International Airport, I'm Dave Andrews for the Eyewitness News Update.
Now, of course, both of the Twins' first two playoff games at the Dome are complete sellouts, and the Twins are counting on that home field advantage in their series with the Tigers, Rob.
Perhaps the best news they probably found out in the air was who they were going to play, it being the Detroit Tigers. It took the full 162 games to decide it, but the other half of the American League Championship ticket can now be printed. This afternoon, on the last day of the regular season, the Detroit Tigers won the right to face the Twins in the American League Championship Series. The Tigers did it with a 1-0 win over Toronto at Tiger Stadium. The only run of the game, this solo home run by Larry Herndon in the third. Frank Tanana took it from there, going the distance while shutting out the Jays. The win capped a weekend sweep of Toronto, who a week ago had a 3.5-game lead in the East. And it sent the Tigers packing for a trip to Minnesota. Channel 5's Mark Stevens reports tonight from Tiger Stadium.
This one was just like all the others. Well, at least the last week's work.
2 outs in the 9th, and a tap to the mound. This could be it. It's all over. The Tigers win it.
The Tigers capped off a sensational season-closing comeback, led today by the shutout pitching of Frank Tanana.
7 one-run games. How exciting, you know, 7 one-run games. It was as good a baseball. The series and the playoffs can't be better than what we just saw.
Now, the Twins are familiar with the kind of celebration that's going on here in Tiger Stadium. The difference is the Tigers came the last game of the season, a full extra week of intensity. And the question is, how much of an effect will that have on the American League East champs? Will those intense-type games take anything out of you guys going into Minnesota?
I hope not, but right, we've got 2 days. We don't open up till Wednesday, so today's Sunday. We've got a couple days to relax. We'll be ready. I mean, if you can't get ready for the playoffs, then you shouldn't be here anyways.
We know that we can rise to the occasion if we have to, and we can dig deep and never quit. And you know, it was a tough week and a half. It really was. But these guys refused to let it die, and that's why we won.
And the Tigers expect the same treatment from their hosts in the Twin Cities.
It'll get awful intense Wednesday. Tommy's made them very intense this year. They come from, losing 100 games last year to winning that thing. Tommy's done a tremendous job, and that Minnesota club will be laying for us.
At Tiger Stadium in Detroit, Mark Stevens, Channel 5, Eyewitness Sports.
And, of course, that championship series will begin Wednesday night at the Dome. How about the pitching matchup? Well, the probables look this way. The Twins plan to go with Frank Viola on the mound. The Tigers expected to counter with Doyle Alexander. Game 2 of that series will be Thursday night at the Dome. At the Dome today, it was the Picketeers and a pickup game of sorts. With the strike still going, the Vikings B squad took on the Green Bay Packers B squad in the first game with the replacement players. The Packers won this one by a score of 23-16. Remember James Brim? His folks certainly do, and, well, he was with the Vikings during training camp. He was cut, and he got a chance to cut loose in the open field today. He caught this touchdown pass for 63 yards. He also ran for another score. More than 13,000 fans saw the Vikings come back from a 27 deficit, only to see them fall short when Jim Bob Morris, a former plumber, intercepted this Tony Adams pass late in the game, returned it 73 yards. The final again, 23-16. We hear from Jerry Burns.
It was an exciting game, and so I can't say it was ugly out there. I know that I was excited right to that guy picked off that pass down there right in the goal line when we're going in for a score. And I think you got to, as I said, I think you got to really credit the players on both sides.
It's not until a game like today you know just what quality and top level of talent the NFL players really are, because today's game was a glorified college game at best. More on this later.
All right, Rob. You know, some people might have found the action outside the Dome more entertaining this afternoon. The striking players set up pickets, and they were joined by a loud group of supporters. You knew it wasn't your typical football Sunday at the Dome when the souvenirs being sold outside were buttons like this one. The Viking players were outside the gates, and they actually got to take it easy and sign autographs. Their Union supporters did most of the shouting for them.
Yeah, there's no football game in there today. Don't want to go in there. There's no game in there.
With only 45 players, it's hard to make a big splash if we come out and do this, but with the support of the other unions, you know, we can get enough numbers to generate a lot of attention.
A few of the players' wives joined in, too, yelling at fans' wives.
Come on, don't let him take you in there. Make him take you out to dinner. Don't go in there. He can get...
But they couldn't convince everyone, not even this woman, whose father was a Teamster for 42 years.
Not one football player ever supported him when he was on strike for 36 weeks.
The players themselves hope this is the last time they have to do this.
I don't think the owners or the players want to be on strike at all, and hopefully something can get resolved this next week and we can play next weekend.
I think the management and the public is going to see how these games are such a farce and far sub-caliber of NFL players that they're going to come back and hopefully we'll be playing next Sunday.
But even if they are, here's one season ticket holder who doesn't know what he'll do.
If I knew that all the other season ticket holders were with me, I wouldn't go for at least 1 week, just to show them that, hey, as the fans, we are the real owners.
Well, for some fans, it didn't matter that the regular players were not on the field today. Thousands of people did decide to take in the Vikings-Packers game anyway. Some supported the replacement team. Most, though, just wanted to see a football game, period.
To show my support for the Scabs, and my son plays football in high school, and he doesn't get to see the regular games for the Packers.
I think after 1 or 2 weeks of this, you're not going to see a very big turnout anyway.
Today's attendance was 13,911. Coming up next on the Eyewitness News Update, Californians are reeling from the largest aftershock to strike since the earthquake. And Dr. Michael Breen shows us an amazing surgical procedure using a laser to clean out the heart. That's on Vital Signs, coming up next.
Do men make passes at women who wear glasses? You bet they do. If the women know where to shop. Dueling Optical, their style and selection. Designer frames to contact lenses. Professional consultants who care. And affordability.
With eyeglass purchase, receive a free pair of eyeglasses or daily wear contact lenses.
So remember, buy your eyewear at Dueling and never, no, never answer the phone on the first ring.
Because we have over 1,000 coast-to-coast stores, it gives us better buying power so that we can offer a better price to our customer and a bigger selection.
Save during our fall sale on Philips Longer Life Soft White Bulbs in the unique square shape. Just $2.19 for a pack of 4. Get Ever-Ready Energizer alkaline batteries. Popular sizes for most applications. Your choice, only $1.69.
America's Total Hardware Stores. Coast to coast.
It's fall closeout time at Cherokee Power Equipment on their full line of Lawn Boy mowers. Stop in and see over 17 different Lawn Boy mowers, all priced to sell. Use their 30, 60, 90-day no-interest or easy monthly payment plan. They guarantee you won't be disappointed. Best price, best service, best selection at Cherokee Power Equipment. The Lawn Boy sale is on now. Cherokee Power Equipment, 63rd and Boone Avenue North, Brooklyn Park.
It happened again to residents of Southern California. They were awakened by the sharpest of more than 100 aftershocks since Thursday's earthquake. This morning's registered 5.5 on the Richter scale compared to last week's 6.1. One elderly person is dead. 37 others suffered minor injuries.
I feel fortunate, yes, but I have no place to go now. This is my home.
Today's tremor centered in the city of Rosemead, 8 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. Officials say this was slight, though, compared to Thursday's when 7 were killed and damage totaled well over $100 million. It looks like this will be the week that hundreds of thousands of students in Chicago will head back to their classes. The local teachers union has been on strike for 4 weeks there. Although union leaders aren't saying much about the new contract yet, tonight they voted in favor of it. 430,000 students are expected back in class Tuesday. A Minneapolis woman remains in critical but stable condition tonight after a heart transplant this morning. Sharon Garvey's surgery follows another on Tuesday when an artificial heart was implanted. The artificial heart was used as a bridge to that transplant. Researchers in Minneapolis are preparing for what could be an historic operation. Later this year, they'll use a laser to destroy the clogs that cause heart attacks. Dr. Michael Breen has more on what's likely to be a world's first.
Dr. Leonard Nordstrom has spent 3 years preparing for the coming operation. Using the heart of a pig, he's practiced threading the laser into a vessel, then checking his position with an X-ray.
Okay, now let's get ready for lasing.
Okay. Satisfied he's at the center of a vessel, Nordstrom then fires the laser and destroys a block. Nordstrom's used the laser on living animals and on human patients with blocked leg vessels. Now he's almost ready to treat his first heart patient.
It's interesting. There's also some concerns that go with it, obviously.
Nordstrom's cautious, but he knows the laser has the potential to help hundreds of thousands of patients. Those patients are now being treated by inflating a tiny balloon at the side of a heart block. The balloon's effective, but it's got one major drawback.
There's about 30 or 40% chance in both the peripheral and coronary arteries that reclosure will occur.
Because they vaporize a block, 5 or 6 bursts from a laser may prevent reclosure. But using a laser inside a heart vessel has its own problems. First, how do you vaporize a block without heating up and damaging its surrounding blood vessels? And second, How do you guarantee that that powerful beam of light won't just slice through a block and keep on going? To keep a blood vessel from heating up, the laser is surrounded by cool fluid. As a result, when the laser's beam heats up to 1,000 degrees, the blood vessel heats up only 4 degrees. To keep the laser from slicing through the body, engineers at GV Medical have put a tiny lens at its tip. As you see here, that lens, no bigger than a grain of sand, harmlessly disperses the beam. Nordstrom feels those improvements have made the laser safe enough for its first human heart.
I think the most important question is, can we do it safely without injuring the arteries?
And we're very optimistic that that procedure will take place by the end of the year here in Minneapolis.
If successful, that first procedure may change forever the way we treat heart disease. For the Eyewitness News Update, I'm Dr. Michael Breen.
Researchers have gotten approval from both the FDA and Methodist Hospital to go ahead with that procedure. A trumpeter swan, apparently mistakenly shot by a hunter, looks like it'll survive. Since the swan is young, it has the brown color of a Canada goose, which became fair game for hunters with the start of the season yesterday. A Minnesota veterinarian came across the injured swan outside Hamel. The bird was taken to the Raptor Center to be nursed back to health. Well, the hunting was balmy today, but it was chilly here last night. Still, it was nothing like Albany. Coming up next, Karen Falloon will tell us if this is in store for us soon.
Come see what's falling now at Mills Fleet Farm.
It's our autumn savings price plunge.
Come into Fleet Farm for specials that blow away the competition. Get quick, dependable starts this winter with the Durastart 60-month maintenance-free battery.
Powerful high-energy design with 540 cold cranking amps make the Durastart 600 the best maintenance-free battery available today. It's adaptable to fit all cars and light trucks. Yours now for only $41.99.
So take time out to stop and rake in the bargains during autumn savings now at Mills Fleet Farm.
Hey, forget the fruit and fiber. Feel good every morning with music and money on KS95. It's the Sunny Money song, 20 grand every week. 20,000 weekly guaranteed, plus the Twin Cities' best music. It's so easy. Listen at 7:20 every morning to win. That means more winners more often. And more music. The KS95 Sunny Money song. 20 grand a week in cash. Your minimum daily requirement of music and money on KS95.
Chicken Little, come and go with me. Chicken Little, only at KFC. Chicken Little, come and go with me. Chicken Little, you're everywhere I go. 39 cents, you know I love you so.
Kentucky Fried Chicken's new Chicken Little sandwiches. They cost just a little, but people love them a lot.
Come and go with me.
30 years ago tonight, the world's first satellite was sending electronic beeps back to the Soviet Union. It was called Sputnik, which in Russian means traveling companion. Word spread about the Soviet achievement with every orbit. And in time, the Soviets did indeed have a traveling companion in space. The U.S. The space race had begun. So are the satellite pictures tonight showing snow like they had in Albany, New York?
No. Clouds are getting a bit thicker. What the maps or the satellite pictures don't show is the summer heat hitting Southern California. For the second day in a row, Santa Maria, California, hit a temperature over 100 degrees. And at 108, that town had its second hottest day ever since record keeping began in the late 1800s. Los Angeles matched that with 108 degrees and another record temperature. There looks to be, again, tomorrow, record heat with temperatures hitting the 100-degree mark or better. The very warm winds from the desert southwest continue sweeping across Southern California. Now, some of this heat made it into the upper Midwest. Temperatures were in the mid to upper 80s in western and southwestern Minnesota. We had 70s elsewhere across Minnesota and Wisconsin, but look to the northwest. Cooler air up in Canada, and it's headed our way. We'll feel it here tomorrow. But overnight, we should see increasing clouds with a few showers possible toward morning. Temperatures will be in the lower 50s. Waking up, mostly cloudy skies at about 48 degrees. The rest of Monday, scattered showers just behind a cold front coming through. Temperatures will be noticeably cooler, 20 degrees cooler than today with 56 to 61 the range. Note the winds. 20 to 35 miles an hour, and they'll be out of the northwest. Right now, the winds are out of the west at 8 miles an hour. They'll be increasing during the night. Temperature is 67, the dew point 39, the relative humidity 36%, and the pressure is rising. Our high temperature this afternoon was 79 degrees, not a record. Below this morning, 44, and right on the money as far as average temperature goes. Well, Mother Nature gave us a special treat today with temperatures averaging above 7 degrees above normal. But New Englanders were treated differently, with a foot of snow since last night, up to 20 inches in some spots. And for Albany, New York, this is the earliest measurable snow on record. And there have been at least 4 deaths blamed on the heavy snows in this freak snowstorm. And over 1,000 people are without power tonight. But the good news is that all winter weather advisories have been dropped, and the weather should be improving tomorrow. The storm system causing all of this snow will be moving out farther into the Atlantic. They should have some sunshine and warmer temperatures to help melt off some of that snow. Now, we have a cold front on the way. That should give us the rather blustery conditions with a few scattered showers. A second front should be moving in for late tomorrow and on Tuesday, so that temperatures will be colder still. National satellite pictures showing those clouds getting thicker. That little twist in the clouds just to the east of Lake Winnipeg does mean that front is on the way. Note the clouds are beginning to get a bit thicker, though, in the eastern Dakotas and northwestern Minnesota, and that's headed here for later on tonight. Northern Minnesota will be blustery and cold tomorrow with winds 20 to 40 miles an hour. The western end of Lake Superior should have gale warnings out. Temperatures will remain in the 40s. Southern Minnesota will have windy conditions, colder, a few showers, and in the 50s. And western Wisconsin, mostly cloudy, a few scattered showers, and temperatures will be in the mid to upper 50s. The 5-day outlook shows that the temperatures will be steadily getting colder, so that by Wednesday it'll be in the 30s with highs only in the 40s. Plenty of sunshine on Thursday, but it'll be cold sunshine with those nighttime temperatures in the 20s and highs in the 40s.
What a difference between the coasts. 108 degrees on the west coast, snow on the east.
Extremes at opposite ends of the country.
That's something else. All right, Karen. Still ahead in sports, more on the Vikings game with the Packers, and it was a Sunday of pickets and fumbles around the rest of the NFL. Rob Lear has it all next on Eyewitness Sports.
Been looking for a van? Now is your chance to get a van that's not stripped down, but loaded with features. The Towsley Ford Advantage 100 model by Waldock. It has features like Flex Steel's captain's chairs, burglar alarm, automatic transmission, sport wheel covers, aluminum running boards, and all this. Just $12,995. That's a savings of $3,700, or lease for $279 a month. We have over 100 vans in stock, so you'll find the one that's exactly right for you, and with a volume price to make it worth a trip to Towsley Ford, White Bear Lake.
We're a small town, homegrown, made the way you make your own pizza. Tombstone, we're a ladle down and loaded up with lots of mozzarella on the pizza. Tombstone,
we pile on the goodness, we're loaded with real cheese.
We're sure the taste of Tombstone's gonna please, or to please your family. We're a small town, homegrown, made the way you make your own pizza. Tombstone, made the way you make your very own. Tombstone.
Eagle Drugstores present their fall season premiere, featuring spectacular savings on Bengay for minor aches and pains, 3-ounce size for $2.69. A 10-pack of drip-dry plastic-coated metal hangers, only 59 cents. And 10 ounces of Vaseline Intensive Care Lotion, just $1.67. Eagle Drug, your ticket to fall savings. See the yellow pages for the Eagle Drug Store nearest you.
Budget Power, the home improvement expert, celebrates with store-wide savings during the grand opening sale. Get an Olympic sports bag free when you purchase 2 large or 4 small 3M interior or exterior window kits. Insulate your exterior foundation with Styrofoam brand insulation from Dow Chemical and a Kona brush-on thermoseal. Keep your home cozy this winter with super thick Owens Corning attic blanket insulation. Replace your old gas-guzzling furnace with an efficient, dependable Heil Energy Marshal II furnace. Save during the grand opening sale at Budget Power, the home improvement expert.
So it's just 3 nights away now before the Twins are in the playoffs.
Baseball in October. You got to like the sound of that. As we told you at the top of this newscast, it'll be the Twins and the Tigers in the American League playoffs. Detroit shut out Toronto 1-0 on this, the final day of the regular season, to win the Eastern Division crown. Frank Tanana pitched a marvelous game for the Tigers. He went the distance, scattering only 6 hits. The only run of the game, Larry Herndon's blast here in the bottom of the third. The victory completed the long climb back for the Tigers, who just a week ago were 3.5 games back. The final out sparked this post-game celebration today at Tiger Stadium.
Little squibber, and the
We've got the Twins, and I know everybody's going to say, well, you know, their record isn't as like yours, but still, that doesn't mean anything there. We respect them very much. We know they have a lot of offense, and they're a good ball club, so, you know, anything can happen in the playoffs.
These have been some emotional times for Detroit Tiger players and fans, and for Twins fans as well. Earlier tonight, hundreds of faithful fans welcomed the Western Division champions home from their final road trip of the regular season. Welcome home parties at the airport have become a sign of the postseason times for the Twins, but unfortunately, so are the team's troubles winning away from home. The road woes continued for the Twins today, who lost for the 5th game in a row. The final was 10-1 as Kansas City closed out the regular season by handing the Twins a royal setback. KC scored 8 times in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Kevin Seitzer led the hit parade. This triple knocked in a pair of runs. Instead of tuning up for the playoffs, the Twins look like today they'd rather have taken the day off. After all, they had that party at the airport to look forward to. Again, the final 10-1. Twins will finish the regular season 9 games above 500. The Vikings now have a number in the loss column for 1987. This afternoon at the Dome, the Vikings strike force lost to the Packers strike force in a game that featured more unknowns than John Doe's family tree. Mark Curtis has more on the game from the Dome.
So maybe you didn't recognize their names, and maybe they didn't play with the grace and ease of some of the players we've come to know. But as 13,000 fans can attest, there was a football game here today. Thank goodness football is played in 2 halves, because the first one belonged to Green Bay. Led by quarterback Alan Risher, they quickly rolled up a 20-7 halftime lead as Risher threw for this one to Lavelle Thomas and ran untouched for another. But here's that second half. Vikings quarterback Tony Adams gives it to Steve Harris to James Brim on the reverse for his 2nd touchdown of the day, and it looked like the Vikings might get something going. They had their chances, time running out in the game. Adams' pass intended for Mark May is picked off by Jim Bob Morris, and that was it. Vikings lose it 23-16. Afterwards, some mixed emotions in the locker room.
The thought of what happened and the way we lost is it's discouraging because the efforts that we made in the second half to get back in the game.
All I was thinking about was the game itself, and I was all caught up in the emotion of the game, and like I said, I thought it was a hell of a ball game.
Mark Curtis, Channel 5 Eyewitness Sports.
Somebody proud of Daddy. It was a Sunday of pickets, pushing, poor football, and published reports. A newspaper in Washington and one in California quoted former players today as saying that the current NFL players are ready to drop their demands for free agency. Player reps from all 28 teams have now been called into a meeting in Chicago tomorrow. In the meantime, there was plenty of picketing in NFL cities, and there was even some pushing and shoving in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Picketeers were teamed up with members of other unions to block fans from going to the Eagles game. Eventually, some 4,000 fans entered through a corridor of police. On the field today, it looked more like a Football Follies highlights film. For the most part, there were more fumbles and miscues than touchdowns and field goals. In fact, Tony Collins of New England fumbled the first 3 times during the first 3 series of the football games. Collins could just not hang on. And, well, there was just some other familiar names in the play today. Remember Mike Hohensee, the former Gopher, the former USFL football player? Well, he helped the Bears win today by throwing 3 touchdown passes. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, it was former Viking quarterback Steve Bono who hit 12 of 22 passes for 164 yards and 1 touchdown. That's Bono there stepping up in the pocket as he helped as the Steelers beat Atlanta 28-12. Around the National Football League, then keep in mind, these scores count unless it becomes part of the negotiating powers to be with the National Football League. Chicago over Philadelphia. Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers win over Detroit. Washington by a touchdown over St. Louis. Cleveland by 10 over New England. New Orleans, the Saints, they set several club records today. Offensively, the Saints did, no surprise. They beat the Rams. Indianapolis, a winner over Buffalo. San Diego by a point over Cincinnati. We told you about Pittsburgh's win over Atlanta. The Raiders came from behind to beat Kansas City. Houston by a big margin over Denver. Seattle and Dallas won their football games. Prime time, if you want one more chance to take a look at the scab games, we have San Francisco at the New York Giants. Kickoff 8 o'clock here on Channel 5. And North Stars have some bad news tonight. Center Dennis Marouk has torn some ligaments. He'll miss the first 3 months of the hockey season.
More bad news. While you were doing all that talking, I was told in my earpiece that the North Stars lost 6-5 to Chicago tonight.
Okay.
Well, you have to wonder in cities like Indianapolis and Green Bay that came up with big wins today, whether those fans there might hope that the strike continues.
They think the strike is great. They've got a fresher breath air.
All right, Rob, thanks. If you're looking for a place to lunch tomorrow, photographer Russ Brown may have found just the spot, and Stan Mayslacks serves a whopping helping.
When you need a home equity loan, you don't need your old bank taking bites out of your equity for appraisal fees and title insurance. At First Minnesota, you don't have to pay those charges on loans up to $50,000. Plus, you won't pay points or annual fees. So go to the new bank for your home equity loan. Before the old bank eats you out of house and home.
First Minnesota, the new bank.
He's a doctor of optometry here at the Eyeworks. First step in the glasses fast, glasses bright promise. Thanks, Steve. This little piece of paper is my prescription for a new pair of glasses. Now, here's the really fast part. The lab's right here in the Eyeworks with the specially trained technicians and all the latest equipment. They can make my glasses in an hour. You can stay and watch if you want. The new me. That fast.
The Eyeworks. Glasses fast, glasses right. Call for an exam or bring in your prescription. When your sore throat burns, every second counts.
I'm counting.
You want relief, and you want it now.
I want this pain out of here.
That means Chloraseptic, because only Chloraseptic has the powerful anesthetic phenol that penetrates nerve endings for relief in seconds. Relief so fast, the moment you feel it, we'll stop this commercial.
Nervous?
It's just a reunion. It's no big deal. We were just good friends.
Right. So why the new dress?
Well...
And why a new antiperspirant?
Secret? Because it works.
Honey, it's strong enough for a man.
Uh-huh. The pH balanced for a woman.
You are definitely a woman.
Ooh.
You smell so...
Fresh. My new Secret Spring Breeze. Perfect for women with jealous husbands.
Jealous? Nah. But just wear this.
That's awful.
Exactly.
New Secret Spring Breeze. Strong enough for a man.
But pH balanced for a woman.
There's a place in northeast Minneapolis that's gained quite a following through the years. Some go for the sake of tradition, and others for the unique atmosphere. But for anyone who finds himself near Mayslacks Polka Lounge around noon, it's never just lunch. It's mostly Stan Mayslack. Photographer Russ Brown takes us there through the lens.
Okay, dear. Come on.
I like the white one better. It soaks in better, it seems like.
You want to get your bunch dunked too?
Lunch stands as a cultural event.
Add a little bourbon in there, all right? It'll wake you up. Have fun now. Enjoy yourself.
Can't wait to sink my teeth into this. We're having fun now.
That's a lot of juice, a lot of buns, and a lot of meat. They're sneaking up on me here.
What's it like to be a celebrity, Stan?
Some fun now. It is the most controversial treatment for depression, even though it's been around for nearly 50 years. It is electroshock therapy, or more commonly known as shock. And beginning Tuesday on the Eyewitness News Update, John Wingate will present a gripping look at this procedure and the shocking debate surrounding it. For some patients, shock can be a lifesaver, working where other treatments have failed. But other patients claim they received shock needlessly and have suffered permanent memory loss as a result. Is shock used too often, and what are the side effects? We'll show you how the procedure is done and talk with people who say it changed their life forever. Join us for The Shocking Debate, an Eyewitness News special assignment report Tuesday on the Update at 10. Here's a look at the week ahead on Eyewitness News. On Tuesday, Boy Scouts in the Twin Cities plan to announce a major project to help needy Minnesotans. Also on that day, in St. Paul, several hundred hope to assemble a human billboard expressing opposition to Contra aid in Nicaragua. And runners from all over the country are getting in their last laps before next Sunday's 6th annual Twin Cities Marathon. One more look at weather.
Well, we have some colder air dropping in over the upper Midwest over the next couple of days. I'd like to say that most of that colder air would remain in Canada, but right now, temperatures tomorrow will be 20 degrees cooler in the upper 20s to lower 30s come this week at night.
All right, and that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. Good night.
The graceful arch of a washerless accent faucet by Sterling is backed by a 10-year drip-free warranty. Triple chrome-plated on brass construction, it conserves 30% more water.
In part 2 of Intimate Con...